Hi, my name is Bob Anderson. I'm heading up the Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association Hillside Ordinance Committee. A lot of you may or may not know the city has passed a mansionization ordinance for the flatlands. So you are limited in how you can remodel, what you can build. What you may not know is that next they're working on a hillside version of that ordinance, and in the meantime they are reclassifying homes all over the valley and the rest of Los Angeles and changing them from designated as hillside to flatland. They just do it. They took topological maps where it's not sloped enough. They said it really isn't a hill, so now we're going to call it flat instead. And I put a map over here on the table. The map is this huge 24 megabyte computer file that nobody can use, but I cut out a Sherman Oaks section. Basically, if you were south of Ventura Boulevard, you were hillside. Now, basically, you're going to have to be south of Valley Vista, except for a few exceptions. And if you want to look at this map that's laying over on the table and see if you can locate your house on here, the city map has no street names on it, so it's a lot of fun to use, but I added some street names for your convenience. I've got my email on there. We went to the Planning and Land Use Committee. Saturday morning they sent me an email, said we're going to meet on this Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Plenty of notice. A lot of people showed up, or 11 of us. We got 1 minute, not 2, but we convinced them for a 30-day continuance. So now we have until July 21st. And if you have problems with your home being classified from hillside to flatland, and I can't tell you exactly what that means because they haven't told us what it means. But if you're concerned, contact me by email and I'll explain it to you and anything else. And the email is on this sheet that's sitting over on the table.
And you're going to be here after the meeting?
And I'll be here after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There will be a committee meeting, so if you're an impacted property owner, we really encourage you to contact Bob, or you can come see me and we can talk about the meeting that's going to be held probably next week sometime, because obviously time's of the essence. So a big thank you to Paul Koretz for intervening and helping to get that delay of time. Fashion Square, I'm going to speak about that at the end. Nancy, why don't you give an update about a few interesting things?
Hi, I'm Nancy Khalil, and I chaired the Best Buy committee. But I wanted to start with saying that yesterday my minivan was hit from behind on Riverside Boulevard. And you say, why is this germane to this meeting? The man who had pushed the crosswalk, I stopped at the smart crosswalk at Ranchito. The man who was pushing the button to cross the crosswalk, I said, would you please be my witness? And he said, I'm videotaping you. And I thought, why? Why was this man videotaping? And he happened to catch my accident completely on videotape. And here's the tragedy. This man's name is Mr. Kadmiri, and many of you probably read about his daughter in the Daily News or saw them on the TV. His daughter was walking her bicycle across this crosswalk and was hit by a car, and she's paralyzed from the neck down. Mr. Kadmiri was trying to prove that this intersection is unsafe. And I thought, why do things happen? And they happen for a reason. And I would like to give voice to this community, because there are many people in this room who support Notre Dame High School in keeping their crosswalk, which is in jeopardy of being taken away. And there's many of us who feel that the crosswalk, the smart crosswalk at the Fashion Square, should be elevated. It should have the same type of red light crosswalk that is on Ventura Boulevard, just west of Van Nuys Boulevard. People would stop. And unfortunately for Mr. Kadmiri's daughter, she will never move her arms or legs again because of being hit in this crosswalk. So I told him that I would give voice to this cause tonight, and I know that Wendy GRUEL is leaving office, but for those of you candidates who are in the room tonight, we need our crosswalks elevated, not removed. And this is a very important issue, and I'm sure everyone in this room would agree with me. Moving on to a different subject, I do want to thank Wendy GRUEL and her staff for completing the bump outs in the Library Square community related to Best Buy. Wendy did provide about $80,000 from her own council account to complete the projects. and DOT did pay additional for the stop signs. And this is also rather important for communities who are facing development, because the estimates for traffic mitigation for the community often run far over the original budget. So we do thank Councilmember GRUEL and her staff for going the extra mile on that. We are moving through the preferential parking process, but like several of the committee chairs who've been here before you tonight, there's concerns when a council member leaves office and we don't have a seated council person because council approval is needed for a preferential parking district. So we are hoping that it can be pushed through, but there remains concerns what happens in the interim. We are also still, Lexi's working on trying to get a general services accounting for Library Square. And the last point that I have to make is about a different project. The former Baroni site, if any of you have driven past there, the weeds are now past the Piken sign, and these remain concerns for the community. If you see trash or abandoned grocery carts, please call 311. This is part of our community. It's the center of our community, and an abandoned property, it never gets better on its own. So thank you very much.
Okay, Fashion Square update. For those of you that are worried about it, the project is kind of on hold, but they haven't withdrawn the application. But fortunately, we are hopeful that we will resume talks with the shared objective of completing the talks before Wendy leaves office. Otherwise, as we've explained to Fashion Square, as we've explained to Westfield, that it is to their benefit that they conclude these talks with Soha now, rather than see us during the assorted appeals processes that we would be more than willing to undertake in order to protect our community. So, if you have any questions about any of the developments and the issues we've talked about, come see me tonight, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.